happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Amplify Your Brilliance Mondays, a time where I give you tools and insight to really align your faith with your purpose as you start or grow your business. And really, my ultimate goal is that you get in alignment with your God given assignment. And so I'm here every Monday to give you tools to do just that. So, listen, we've been in a series since the end of March for the last 9 weeks. We've been in a series called Don't Stay Stuck. So today, as we talk from the subject, there is value in your labor. I got notes all around me because I got so much to give you and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Today is there is value in your labor. And here's what I want you to understand. In the last 9 weeks, the reason why I talked so long about don't stay stuck is because you can have passion, you can be excited, you can even have God give you a vision about what your business should be, right? About your purpose, about how to move it forward. But having a vision and being excited is altogether different when you've got to go through moments of challenge. And so it's been my goal over the last 9 weeks to give you tools to look at what those challenges could be. Some of them are things that happened to you before you started your business, some will happen during. So before I start to go in, and y'all that are here with me week after week know how I do. I want you to always come in and say, hey, you don't walk in somebody's house and not speak. At least not back in the day. My grandmother would make you walk back out of the house and come back in if you didn't speak. So tell me hello as you're coming in. Tell me name. Tell me where you're joining from, right? So again, over the last 9 weeks, we've been talking about don't stay stuck. So I'm going to do a review and then I'm going to give you the tools because I need you to understand. Well, let me say this before I do a review. When you think about labor, when you think about doing the work that God has called you to do in this world, it will call for you to work. Just because God gives you a vision doesn't mean it automatically happens. Hey, my Renata, you got a God glow going on. Oh, I appreciate you, girl. That's because I got on these new magnetic lashes today. Hallelujah. So listen, I want y'all to get this. And by the way, those that didn't read her comment, she said, I have a glow today, Renata, who's here with me every week. I appreciate you, right? Plus, I think red is my color. So anyway, focus. So everything I've been teaching you in this series is all tied to the value of your labor. So you have to understand that God gave you a gift. There's value in that gift. There's value in you putting in the work to grow that gift. There is value for the people that need you. See, God knew exactly when you would be born to this world. He knew exactly. Your parents may not have known, but God knew. He was strategic. He had you come here at this time because there was a need he needed you to fulfill. And so when you allow things to keep you from it, you're definitely not living as the highest and best version of who God created you to be. And so there is value tied to your labor. So if I were to give an example, it's childbirth. Now I've not birthed a baby myself, so I'm going to give you this insight from I was in the labor and delivery room with my best friend. Told her husband to go home one night. I said, "Go home. I got it. I'll call you when the baby is almost here." And she kicked her legs up about twice and screamed about twice. And I saw parts of her I never wanted to see, and I saw her in pain. And I was like, I called him back like, "Come back." So I'm going to be honest. I couldn't take it. Not in that room. But I'm going to be honest with you. In the 28 years that I have been in this work, God gave me a vision in 1993 when I started. And all along the way I thought it was going to happen. What's that quote? Man makes plans and God laughs. So the way that I thought it was going to happen, didn't look like this. But the place I'm in right now is the very thing that God showed me. And even as I told you Joseph's story some weeks ago, it never looks like what you go through to get to the thing that God has promised you. And even those of you that God may not have given you a actual vision, but you have this thing rumbling inside of you. And sometimes we will wait until we know exactly how to do it. And that is not how God works. Hey, Michelle in Miami. And I saw Arkina come in. Hey, girl in Maryland. Right? That's not how God works. See, God doesn't give you a gift. He doesn't give you purpose. He doesn't rumble stuff inside of you, checking your bank account, checking if you're ready, checking your friends, checking your resume. He doesn't do any of that. He's checking your faith. So if you're going to become the highest and best version who God called you to be, you've got to go through labor. So with that said, when you have a baby, when you first get pregnant, a lot of my girlfriends that were first pregnant were excited about this new life they were giving birth to. And around the second trimester, you get a little tired. And wait, let me back up. The first trimester, some of my friends were sick. So although they might have been excited, that sickness kind of, So I kept thinking, let me get through the first trimester. And some of y'all that have had babies, please tell me your stories because I'm basing this off what I've heard, right? And I just realized, Michelle, my Michelle, my client Michelle, girl, that's what I saw you were. So listen, then you get into the second trimester, and it gets a little easy. But by the time you get to the third one, baby, you want it to be over. You want that baby out. You're tired of carrying it. You're tired of not feeling yourself in your body. And I'm saying that because it's the same thing that happens in your business. It's not overnight. It's not. It's not going to come out the way you want it when you want it. It doesn't work like that. See, God takes us through levels. And that's exactly what I did as I walked you through the last 9 weeks. So and I wrote it down so I won't miss anything. I'm going to walk you through. Now, listen, those of you that haven't been with us and you've missed a week or two, you can go back to watch every episode you've missed at nrjnetwork.com. nrjnetwork.com, right? Now, see, Michelle, you just put a comment up. She said, I've learned I can't wait for perfect. I have to be on a faith walk and let God uncover what I never imagined. Come on, girl, right? Because here's the thing. God don't work on our time. So we can want something now, right? But God doesn't work like that. Again, read Joseph's story in the Bible because God gave him a vision and then all this stuff happened that didn't even look like it was in alignment with the vision. And yet, though the vision tarry, wait for it. In that Habakkuk 2 something, somebody write that in there. I know one of y'all know it. Though the vision tarry, wait for it. Tarry means taking long, right? So with that said, that is really why I walked you through these 9 weeks because having a business is, listen, I am in a place that I never could have imagined in my business. I absolutely love the work I do. Sometimes I can't believe I get paid to do this. Sometimes I feel guilty, to be honest with you, that I get paid to do this because I love it so much. And as new doors of opportunity are opening for me, which are all God given opportunity, I am blown away at what God is doing. But I'm going to tell you, I would not have gotten here had I not had to push my baby out a couple times. Had I had to go through labor pains, if I didn't go through the hard things. And sometimes I think God puts us through the hard things to see if we really are serious about this purpose focused mission that He's given us, right? So here's what Renata says. She says, yes, right now I'm going through the levels and I had to make a decision to push through no matter how hard it is. Just because I'm moving to my calling doesn't mean the path will be easy, but God will take me through it. Yes, girl, y'all are preaching today. I love when my clients get on here and come on, y'all, right? And God will, because when you're obedient to his calling, even though you can't see it, that's what faith is. Hebrews 11:1, one of my favorite Bible verses. Y'all hear me say this all the time. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So why would you need faith if you could see it? Why would you need faith if you already had it? So with that said, let me do my review because I'll keep going, right? So again, this is the whole series, Don't Stay Stuck. So episode 11, Don't Look Back. No, let me put this up here while I'm doing. So those of you that missed any of these episodes, let me show you. Again, this is my YouTube channel. So you can go back on my Amplify Your Brilliance tab. You can go back and watch all these episodes if you've missed any, okay? So episode 11, Don't Look Back. So the main point here is that we each have a choice. We can say focus on yesterday, or we can be focused on tomorrow. What's your choice, right? And so I gave you, by the way, each of these episodes, I'm telling you really quick, I give you steps in each episode. And then I also give you a journal because I need you to dig underneath the surface. So the surface say, oh, I'm good, but you're not. Because if you were good, you'd be sitting next to Jesus and you ain't there yet. Neither am I. So I'm always doing this work too, right? So that was episode 11. Episode 12 was burn it off. See, even a diamond starts as a lump of coal. In order for it to become all that is possible, it's got to burn off some things. And so do you, right? Unfortunately, this thing called life, there are things that will try to keep you from your purpose. Sometimes it's things people have said to you, sometimes it's things people have done to you, and then you have the nerve to believe it, and then you become what they say instead of you becoming what God says. So you got to burn it off. And guess what? If you don't, it's like cancer. It walks around with you. Hate to use that for an example, but if you know what happens if you don't treat your cancer. Episode 13, Beyond the Cross. And I did this after the day after Easter, baby. When God started giving me this, I was like, yes. T.D. Jakes said a couple years ago, the cross is a transportation, not the destination. The cross is the transportation. See, the cross reminds us that Jesus didn't get stuck. See, if Jesus didn't go to the cross, he would not have resurrected. We would not. Y'all fill in the blank. See, God is going to let you live on whatever level you settle for. So if you want to settle and not push through and not go get the value of your labor, then stay stuck, stay in mediocre, stay in good enough, stay in Your comfort. When you get out of your comfort, God has something extraordinary waiting for you, but it's going to take the extra with the ordinary to get extraordinary. Y'all get that? And let me say this, even as I was talking about Joseph earlier, and this even this week beyond the cross, I think I talked about Joseph's story in that episode. And thank you, look at you, Yolanda, being my Vanna Black, and right now my episodes. I appreciate you. Listen, so even in Beyond the Cross, I used Joseph as a story, and I talked about all the levels he went through, kind of like how we went and matriculated through school, the school system, right? So you don't start at high school. You start, some of us in pre-K. Then you move on to kindergarten. Then you move on to elementary school. Then you move on to junior high and high school. Those are levels. But see, because we know those levels ahead of time, it's easy. And God does the same thing. See, God is a God of system. He's having you matriculate through a system. If you don't push through, hello, value in your labor, you will stay right where you are. Michelle said, yes, be teachable and willing to move beyond your comfort zone, right? Listen, I saw Stephen Furtick. I'm always watching some sermon, y'all. So Stephen Furtick said on a sermon once, probably was a couple years ago, the greatest enemy of faith isn't fear, it's familiarity, because we want to stay in what we feel, what we're familiar with. And when God has a bigger plan for you, go look at Abraham, look at any story in the Bible, even look at people like Oprah. She was familiar with her TV show, and then she started a network. Anyway, let me keep going. My goal is always to be here for 30 minutes. So that was episode 13. Episode 14 was the power to press. Again, this is based on Philippians 3:14. I press for the goal for the prize of the upper call, right? But before that, in episode 15, who has your remote? Forgetting those things which are behind. So you've got to realize what's behind you that has control over your thoughts. See, for me, for a long time, I'm from South Central LA. And I was embarrassed for a while about where I was from. So I tried to put on this air. And then I realized me being from South Central LA and being educated makes me I'm sister girl all through and through. Not gonna let that go. But that's what makes me who I be. That's what makes me fun to hang out with and a great teacher. Because you get one part Tamar Braxton. You get one part Tamar. One of my girlfriends told me this. One part Tamar. You get one part college professor. You get a one part Jesus girl. And you get a whole lot of production, because I come from a production background, right? All those things make me who I be. And by the way, that whole production background, I've been that way since I was 3. Anyway, right? So you've got to realize, who are you allowing to control your life? Who are you giving power to? And how are those choosing your reactions for you? Talked about the episode 15. You got to go look at that. Then episode 16 was rehearse it or release it. It's kind of like, you guys remember, those of you that still have a tape recorder and you put stuff on pause and you can rewind it. Some of y'all got some things in your life on rewind, and it needs to come out of the tape recorder altogether. I know I'm aging myself. At least I didn't say 8-track, right? Here's a quote in that week. Getting over a painful experience is like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. How many of y'all ever did a monkey bars when you were little? I was good at the monkey bars. I talked about this week 16. And this really continues with who has your remote, because you've got to let go and stop letting those things control you. Or some of y'all are trying to control situations. And when you surrender to God, when you submit, listen, submission, if you look at the word, I know submission is a word and most of us don't want to hear. I know, I get it. But when you really think about submission, sub is under, right? Like a submarine is under the mission of God. Oh, then I can submit. This submission feels good to me, right? Episode 17 was rise above it. And I wrote this out earlier in my post this morning in social media, but I'm going to say it again, right? So one of my favorite quotes is, when they go low, we go high. And I looked this up a couple of years ago. I wanted to understand and have greater context to why Michelle Obama says this, right? And so what I found is in the New York Times, while in an interview she did for the New York Times, while promoting her book, she took the time to explain the meaning behind that statement. And here's what she said. She said, going high doesn't mean you don't feel the hurt or you're not entitled to an emotion. It means that your response has to reflect the solution. It shouldn't come from a place of anger or vengefulness. Anger may feel good in the moment, but it's not going to move the ball forward. And here's what I know for sure. So many women that I have the pleasure to talk to, coach, speak, teach, Tell me things like, well, well, I'm afraid. Well, I don't know how to figure out how to make that money. What that anything that's laced in fear or the excuses you would make around why you couldn't start now, all of that is laced in fear. And what you're doing is going low. hmm The only thing I want you to go low on is in a calypso line. When you go into the bar. Other than that, I don't want you going low. I need you to understand that God has higher heights for you. But you've got to shift from an emotional place and be strategic. Some of you are thinking you're stuck in your emotions around your purpose, and that's going to hinder you. There goes that stuck word, right? Week episode 18 was 10 lessons from mama. And I pulled out some of my lessons that I've learned from my mother along the way and asked you to share yours as well. And I even did that in the action work that week. And here's what I know for sure. That the purpose of that week was me just reminding you of who you already are, who you've always been, and inviting you to go back to her. And then last week was, are you rooted? Because listen, Mark 4:17 says this, and they have no root in themselves, and so endure only for a time. Afterward, when tribulation or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they stumble. See, when you're rooted, you don't let anything shift you. So here is, as I wrap up this, and let me just say this, as we wrap up this series, right? I will start a new series, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be on hiatus after today until June 28th. So we'll start a new series June 28th. But here's what I want you to do over the next 4 weeks. I want you to check your heart. See, there's a Bible verse that says, um, "For as she thinks in her heart, so is she." And this is on your homework, by the way, right? That's Proverbs 23:7. For as she thinks in her heart, so is she. And listen, when things happen to you, things people have done to you, what happens is those things become planted. And if you don't uproot the weed that's choking out the seed of your purpose, it will grow and it will become so big that you'll think that's the truth about who you are. You'll think that's the truth about your purpose. You'll think that's the truth about your business. You'll think that's the truth about what you should do, and it's not. It got planted by a lie somebody said to you or did to you. So I need you to check your heart. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. Now, every week I put your homework, I put your reflection piece, your journal in our Facebook group. And I do that because I only want the women that are willing to play for full out to get it. So you see there at the bottom of the screen, the Brilliance Tribe. Those of you that aren't a member, and some of y'all are watching this in the Brilliance Tribe, this gets posted at 7:30. But you can go back and get week 11 and week 12 and episode 13 and episode 14. You can go and get all the episodes. You can go back and watch the episodes if you missed them. I want to encourage you over the next month to check your heart, because let me say this to you again. This conversation is what? The value of your labor, or there is value in your labor. So if you're not doing the work on you, see, your business can never outgrow you. Your purpose won't outgrow your mindset, because this is the place everything is planted. So what field are you planting your crops in? Are the roots growing? Or are they getting choked out by all these other things that have stopped you? So I've spent so much time on this conversation because I'm going to tell you, this is the conversation in the last 28 years. Well, first of all, let me talk about myself. For the first 17 years, I was stuck because I was stuck here. I was stuck in who I used to be. I was stuck in all of my mind chatter around who I shouldn't be because I'm from South Central LA. I was stuck in all the things people were saying, "Oh, who she thinks she is." I was stuck in all of that until the day I said, you know what? I'm not going to focus on none of them. I'm going to focus on you, Lord. And it shifted everything. And I started doing this work. So who I am is not someone that's just talking at you. I'm with you. I'm a living, breathing example of what it looks like when you choose you unapologetically and go after all that God has placed for you. When you push through it, when you go through the labor pains, when you're clear and uncompromising, I am a living, breathing example of what that looks like. So I'm inviting you in that journey. I'm giving you the next week. I want you to understand. I'm giving you the next month to get clear and spend time doing this work, because anything I teach you after this is going to be in vain if you don't do this work, right? Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. That's Psalms 51:10. Again, this is on your homework, but all these things are all the things that you've really got to take time to do. I want you to really spend some time. Now, listen, every morning I have my daily time to sit in quiet contemplation of where I be. and what's up for me today, and have my little talk with Jesus. Sometimes I journal that talk, sometimes I pray that talk, right? And then read whatever I'm reading in my spiritual aspect. I do that in the morning. Every morning I work out. I used to do that first, but now I can't get up like I used to. So now I work out. Then I do my Jesus time, and then I come in my office. So I want to encourage you to give yourself at least 10 to 15 minutes. If you do 20, I give myself 20 to 30 every day. And I do 20 to 30 in the morning, I do 20 to 30 at night. And sometimes I do 20 to 30 when I walk. I'm supposed to walk every day, but I cheat sometimes. So with that said, I get that life happens. I get that you are in a place where you have these great big dreams for yourself. And so what container are those dreams happening in? Your heart. So I need you to check your heart. I need you to check what could hinder it. I want you to check what is up for you. I want you to check what is in the way of that desire that's in your heart. What's in the way of making it real? That's our conversation. That's a whole goal I've had over the last 9 weeks since I've talked to you about Don't Stay Stuck. Today is week 10. And so again, I'll be on hiatus until the end of June, June 28th. So I want you to do a couple things while I'm gone. Number one, take the time to go back through all of our lessons because we start a new series when I come back. And number two, I want you to spend a little time not just going through the lessons, but doing the work to uncover what could hold you back and do the work to uproot that, right? And as I think I saw Yolanda say a few minutes ago, every so often you have to turn over the soil. So this is my invitation to you to turn over the soil, as Yolanda would say, right? Got that from Yolanda. That's here in our chat. So take the next month and do the work. Only if you want to go after your abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. Again, I'm not here for who you already are. I come here every week for who you have not yet become. And so, with that, I'll be praying with you and for you as we're on hiatus. So, I will see you guys back on June 28th. Two favors I'm going to ask you. Number one, if you're over on my business page, because I have this streaming in some of my Facebook groups, if you're not, come on over to my business page. How you do that is go to amplifyyourbrainsmonday.com. And as you come to my business page, and those of you that are already here, I want you to click below and share it. Well, first of all, like the video, not because I'm trying to get likes, but I want this to stay in my feed because I know this conversation is one that so many people need because they get on the edge of their next level and they quit right when they're almost there, right when that breakthrough is about to happen. And you can't quit. You have people that need you. Ultimately, God needs you. So that's number one. I want you to share. I want you to like it, then share, because you never know who might need this insight. So with that said, it's always my honor, my privilege. Again, reminder that I post your work or your reflection journal for this week. It will be posted in exactly, what time is it now? Exactly 7 minutes. It gets posted at 7:30 in our Facebook group. So it's been my honor, my privilege to share with you from this series over the last 10 weeks. I will be back. I'll see you on June 28th. And listen, don't be a stranger. Come on over as you're having breakthroughs. Come on over and comment and tag me and Amplify Your Brains Monday. And let me know how things are coming up for you. Let me know how things are shifting for you. Let me know how that soil is turning for you, right? So until I get to see you, coach you, teach you, I look forward to continue our conversation on June 28th. All right. Also, if you're in YouTube, still want you to share it, right? If you're watching this in YouTube. So with that said, y'all have a phenomenal rest of your Monday, and I'll see you on June 28th. Bye.